what does the Bible actually teach us when it comes to our life experiences? Well, it actually teaches the opposite. Let me explain. God doesn't promise that life won't overwhelm you. Instead, he promises that it will overwhelm you, but that you won't face it alone, which is actually a much more beautiful message. Let's take a quick look at a few verses that teach this. In 2 Corinthians 12:9, Paul says that God himself said, "My grace is sufficient for you, for my power is made perfect in weakness." What was that? Made perfect in weakness. So when life does overwhelm you, that's when God's power shines the most, because it's made most clear to you that Christ is all you need. In Matthew 11:28, Christ himself proclaims to everyone, "Come to me, all you who are weary and burdened, and I will give you rest." But the only way you can feel weary and burdened is if you are going through something that you can't handle, which is exactly why Christ said that he will give you rest. In other words, you can't receive peace on your own. If you could, then there would be no need for Christ to say this. Instead, Christ knows that you will go through things in life that you can't handle on your own, but with the help from the Lord, you will receive the rest that you are so desperately searching for. In 1 Peter chapter 5, verse 7, we're commanded to cast all of our anxieties on God because he cares for us. The text doesn't say, cast your anxieties on yourself, but if you believe in the idea that God won't give you more than you can handle, then that's essentially what you're advocating for, to cast your anxieties on yourself because you can handle it. But let's align ourselves with what Scripture actually teaches here and recognize when we're experiencing something beyond our control and lean on God's understanding rather than our own. And I do also want to point out that a large part of Paul's teaching in 1 Corinthians chapter 9, verses 25 to 27 is centered on the resemblance between an athlete training their body to a Christian training their spirit. If you're lifting weights, you got to push your body to the limit. And a lot of the time, you need a spotter or a coach to help you so that you don't do it alone. In a similar way, Christ is like our life spotter and our coach, and also our referee and even our cheerleader. He's with us every step of the way, and we should look to him for help in all things. So after looking at some of these verses, this much is clear. When life gets too hard for you, the Bible doesn't tell you to just handle it better. It tells you to hold on to God instead, who will give you the strength needed to persevere and spiritually grow in the midst of it. So having said all of this, I think it's safe to say that we need to reframe this sentence. So I'm going to give it a try. Instead of saying, God won't give you more than you can handle, try saying this: God will carry you through what you can't handle.